And we are live. We are live. What's going on, people? Hopefully you're enjoying your Saturday evening or afternoon or morning, wherever you are in the world. Yeah, man, hopefully you guys are keeping well. Oh, right, let's sort that out. Okay. Okie dokie. Where we at? 1 second, lads. What's all that about? Okay. 1 second, lads. 1 second. There we go. Big up to Big Dan. He says, come on, Zapida. That's a good fight, tonight. That's a good fight. Zapida versus Baranchik should be fairly close and competitive. I've personally got Baranchik, Big Dan, to be honest. I think he might be a bit too physically strong. His pressure really is something else. I'm not sure whether Zapida has enough strength and power to really kind of keep Baranchik at bay, but it's a good fight. Zapida's a really good, tricky boxer. So listen, Zapida's definitely got a chance, but I'm favouring Baranchik in that fight. It's a good fight, though. I'm not sure whether I'm going to stay up for it, to be honest. I might do, I might not. I'll see how I feel later on, but it's a good fight. It's a good fight. And you've uploaded your first video. Nice, nice. What I'll do is, Big Dan, in a couple of days, I'll shout you out on the community page. And yeah, I'll shout you out, mate. No problem at all. No problem at all. Big up to Harvey Hughes. Big up to Harvey Hughes. Hopefully you're doing well. Hopefully you're keeping well on this Saturday evening. Yeah, man, I've really got nothing on tonight, so I thought I would fire up a quick live stream. Thought I'd fire one up. If my internet holds out. My internet's been really bad today, so yeah, potentially if I cut out, I cut out. But it's been bad for a long time, to be honest. I need to change. Currently with BT, so they're not really pulling their weight at the moment. So we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, we've got Baranchik versus Zapida tonight. That's a good fight. Like I said, I've got Baranchik winning that one in a pretty competitive fight. I've got Baranchik. Okay, where are we at? 1 second. I need to close these tabs in the background. 1 second. Let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of that. There we go. Boom. Should be good. Thoughts on Daniel Jacobs versus Gabriel Rosado? Well, Michael Van Gerwen, I think that's a pretty poor fight, to be honest with you. I like Gabriel Rosado. At a certain level, he can be involved in some good fights, but Danny Jacobs needs to be looking higher than Gabriel Rosado. That's just a fill-in time fight. Not really interested, to be honest. Same goes for Devin Haney versus Yuriorkis Gamboa. I mean, what's all that about? A few months ago, Yuriorkis Gamboa was not rated in the WBC. Now, when he's fighting Devin Haney for the WBC title, miraculously, this guy becomes ranked in the top 10. What's all that about? They're both poor fights, in my opinion. Really not interested in Devin Haney versus Gamboa or Danny Jacobs versus Rosado. Not really interested, to be honest. Not really interested. I was really expecting a lot better. They was talking about potentially having, what was it? It was Danny Jacobs versus John Ryder, that would have been a really good fight. But, from that to Danny Jacobs versus Gabriel Rosado, I mean, come on. Jesus, that's poor. That's really poor. Yeah, man, you guys got a good result today against Man City. Yeah, that's a good result. You would have taken a point before the game. That's a good result. And I think he was worth it as well. I kind of watched some of that game. Man City started strongly, but you guys came back into it. To be honest, you finished the game really strongly, hit the bar. You guys done well. You guys are playing good football, I have to say. You guys are playing good football. Yeah, your season's looking pretty bright right now, to be honest. Unlike Man United's, you guys clearly have like a playing philosophy on where you want to go. We don't right now. So, yeah, man, Leeds are looking good right now. Leeds are looking good. I can't lie. Harvey Hughes, Ryan Garcia stepped up before Haney fighting Luke Campbell. Yeah, exactly, bro. Exactly. Like, Luke Campbell's a massive test for Ryan Garcia, but who's Devin Haney for? I mean, Alfredo Santiago, Zawa Abdulayev. I mean, these guys weren't proven. Now he's fighting Gamboa. I mean, come on now. Devin Haney needs to do a lot better than Gamboa. It's not good enough. I don't care what anybody says. It's not good enough. Really isn't good enough. I'm not convinced, St. Brit Sports. I'm not convinced by Cavani. It just feels like another Falcao, you know, an aging player looking for a payday, you know, past his best. Nobody else in Europe wanted this guy, so I'm not convinced by Edison Cavani. Hopefully I'm wrong, but yeah, man, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. I mean, yeah, I'm not convinced, mate, to be honest. I'm not convinced. Yeah, John Ryder versus David Lemieux. Yeah, that's been speaking about as well. That's apparently that could be on the undercard of Dillian White Povetkin. Now that would be a very good undercard fight in my opinion. Ryder versus Lemieux. What's not to like? Both guys are aggressive. Both guys carry power. That's going to be a bit of a barn burner. So yeah, that's a good fight for an undercard right there. Ryder versus Lemieux. Yeah, no doubt. That's a good fight. That's a good fight. See, that's the sort of undercard fight I'd like for a pay-per-view. Ryder versus Lemieux. That's a really good fight. Really good fight. Yeah, 100% St. Brit. That's the fight they need to make for that undercard. 100%. Yeah, 31st of October, yeah. Usyk versus Chisora and Tank Davis versus Leo Santa Cruz. Decent night of boxing. I personally believe Leo Santa Cruz is going up one weight class too many, to be honest. I'm not convinced he belongs at super featherweight. Tank Davis is big for that weight class, coming down from lightweight. He's a puncher. He's explosive. I think Leo Santa Cruz is there to make Tank Davis look good, to be honest. I think this is a very strategic fight to make Tank look like $1 million. I think basically this is Errol Spence versus Mikey 2.0. That's how I see this fight. I think this fight is solely designed to get Tank Davis over, basically. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Leo can surprise me, but I've not been convinced with Leo for quite some time. You know, it just appears his hunger's gone. Not really fought anybody for a while. You know, been treading water, not been looking good. I think Tank's going to smash this guy up. I really do. I really do. Big up to Pigeon Mike Tyson. Devin Haney's coming off a shoulder surgery. I watched him last night on H Money's channel live. I'm not convinced either with the Gamboa fight. Yeah, he got KO'd by Bud Crawford. Exactly. And how many years ago was that? About 6 years ago now. Gamboa's been washed up for a long, long time now. A long, long time. So for Devin Haney to be fighting this guy is quite embarrassing as far as I'm concerned. I expected something better. I understand Lomachenko, Campbell, Garcia, Lopez, all of these guys are unavailable right now. I understand that. But surely you can get someone better than Gamboa, for Christ's sake. I mean, come on. Gamboa. Jesus. Yuriorkis Gamboa. What an absolute shit show. Yeah, man, that's good news. Dubois versus Joyce signed without fans. Yep, that's very good. Very, very, very good. I'm pleased Warren has bit the bullet because he would have been waiting a long time. These guys need to fight, to be honest. You know, these guys need to fight. That's going to be a barn burner. I can't really see it going the distance, but I do make Dubois a favourite, to be honest. I make Dubois a favourite, but that's a big, big test. If Joe Joyce can get through the first sort of 5-6 rounds, then who knows? Maybe he can drown Daniel Dubois, you know, the younger, inexperienced Dubois. That could happen. So that's a good fight. We're going to get a lot of question marks answered in that fight between Joyce and Dubois. Is Dubois the real deal? Is he a hype job? How good is Joe Joyce? It's going to be interesting. That's a good fight. That's a very good fight. Looking forward to it, man. I think I'll pay pay-per-view for that one, to be honest. I think I'll buy that. Yeah, I'll buy that one, I think. I think I'll buy that one. Big up to Intangible. Hopefully you're doing well, mate. Hopefully you're keeping well. Pigeon, he says, Ryder beats Lemieux. I class that as a world title as I hate Lemieux, yeah. I'm not a big fan of Lemieux. He's quite fun to watch, but yeah, he is what he is really, David Lemieux. You know, he's not going to get any better we've seen Lemieux at his best. And yeah, John Ryder on his day, in my opinion, can definitely beat Lemieux. He can beat Lemieux. But yeah, man, hopefully that fight happens. Yeah, it's a great fight, JB Low. It's an excellent fight. It really is. A. O'Neill, he says, Daniel Dubois, he's going to grind Joyce down, yeah, and outwork him. Yeah. Yeah, I could see it. I think if Dubois wins, he wins by knockout, maybe in the first 6-7 rounds. But if it goes past that, I don't know, Joyce definitely could test Dubois' gas tank, his chin, his stamina, his heart, his determination. Joyce keeps on coming. Joyce does have a good work rate. And he's a big physical lump as well. Strong guy. So it's a good fight. But I am favouring Daniel Dubois in that fight, to be honest. I am favouring Dubois. Joe Joyce has a terrible defense. And, to get past that first sort of 6-7 rounds, it's going to take a lot, in my opinion. It's going to take a lot. Coppin 09, Lemieux's fighting on a Canada card, so no chance of fighting Ryder this year. Oh, that's a shame. That's a shame. I mean, come on, man. Jesus Christ. So yeah, Ryder Lemieux is not happening, basically. That's a shame. Oh, that's the first I've heard of it, Coppin 09. That's a bummer, that is. That's a bummer. Will Dubois be Frank Bruno 2.0? You never know, man. He is more similar to Frank Bruno than Joshua is. A lot of people compare Joshua to Frank Bruno. I think Dubois is a lot more similar, to be honest. They still have differences, to be honest, but Dubois resembles Bruno a lot more than Joshua does. He definitely does. Intangible, he favours Daniel Dubois to ice him with some shaky moments in the process of doing so. Yeah, I could see that. Intangible. I could see Dubois maybe getting hurt a couple of times, having a couple of bad rounds here and there. But eventually, I think Dubois is going to get to Joyce. Joyce's defense, man, eventually it's going to come unstuck. You can't take that amount of punches at an elite level and keep on coming forwards. Unless this guy's got a George Chuvalo chin, it's not going to happen. Joyce has been knocked out in the amateurs. He got hurt to the body by Bryant Jennings. I think Dubois can knock this guy out. I really do. And I think Dubois' bodywork in this fight will be key. Dubois can go to the body for a heavyweight. Doesn't do it regularly, but I've seen him do it enough. The Razvan Kajanu fight where he hurt Kajanu to the body and he finished him off upstairs, So, yeah, man, I think Dubois can do it. I really do. Big up to Julio. Why, man? I'm not sure what you mean there, son. I'm not sure what you mean. Who's next for Josh Taylor? Hopefully Ramirez, A. O'Neill. Hopefully Jose Ramirez in an undisputed fight. That's what we all want to see. But right now, Jose Ramirez is in a bit of back and forth with Jack Catterall because Catterall is the WBO mandatory challenger. So that could get in the way. Hopefully it doesn't. But the fight that needs to happen next at 140 is Jose Ramirez versus Josh Taylor. That'd be a great fight. Excellent fight. That's the fight we want to see right now in that division. But again, shitty mandatories get in the way of this sort of stuff in boxing. That's why the sanctioning bodies need to they need to come together and really work out what goes on with these unification fights or undisputed fights. I think all of the sanctioning bodies should have a rule where a unification fight or an undisputed fight takes precedent over a mandatory challenger. They all need to come to that agreement. That in itself would be a lot of progress, in my opinion. Set aside the terrible mandatories. Set aside that. If we could come to the conclusion, to the agreement, that all of the sanctioning bodies allow unification fights, no matter who's mandatory, I think would be in a better position right now, in my opinion. Would be in a better position. Dubois seems to have a cool head until he gets hit. If Joyce's tactics are to play it safe for the first half, that's going to be a massive mistake, in my opinion. That's a good shout, JB Low, because in the Richard Latte fight, when Dubois kind of lost his head a little bit. Sorry, that made me jump. Yeah, Dubois kind of lost his head. He was trading with Latte, getting caught, and he got involved way too much. Maybe Joyce can take him into that sort of fight where it's a bit of a brawl, a bit of a war of attrition. If Joyce could do that, he's got a chance. But it's Joyce's defense that really kind of puts me off him, to be honest. That's what really puts me off Joe Joyce. But he's definitely got a chance. He's definitely got a chance. What do you think of White Chocolate he can hit? Do you mean Nikita Ababi, that guy from Matchroom? He looks okay. He looks okay, but right now, I've not really seen enough to be super impressed, but he looks okay. He's certainly marketable. You know, he could be a bit of a star if he's matched correctly, but I don't see him as one of these guys who necessarily is going to like transcend the sport or really become like an elite level fighter. But he's okay. He's solid. He's decent. He's decent. Pigeon Cowden beef. I think Dubois is the kind of dude to panic under pressure. But we're going to see exactly Pigeon. Yeah, the Richard Latte fight kind of worried me a little bit. How he was trading with the guy, losing his shape. You know, getting caught against Joe Joyce. That gives Joe Joyce a chance. So, Coppin 09. I've heard Jacobs versus Gabriel Rosado is going to launch to Zone UK. Yo, that'd be a terrible launch if that's the case. I mean, come on now. I don't like that fight at all. I really don't. I like both guys. I really do. But Rosado is entertaining at a certain level. But Danny Jacobs should be doing better right now, to be honest. He's had his gimme fight against Chavez Jr. Step up now. You know, John Ryder needs an opponent. We was talking about John Ryder earlier. Why not John Ryder versus Danny Jacobs? That's a great fight. Why not that fight? Fucking Danny Jacobs versus Rosado. Jesus Christ. That's poor, in my opinion. That's really, really poor. Who do you have if Daniel fights Hrgovic? I think you've got to go with Hrgovic. There was a few sparring stories going around a couple of years ago, I guess. And basically people were saying that Hrgovic was kind of bullying Dubois in sparring, bashing him up kind of thing. But yeah, I think Hrgovic is further along right now than Dubois in terms of like technical ability, experience. I'd probably favour Hrgovic, but even Hrgovic right now, you know, that guy's kind of treading water as well. He's not done anything for a while, you know. So we'll see, man. That'd be a good fight, though. Be a good fight. Intangible boxing news. David Lemieux is washed. Yeah, he probably is intangible, to be honest. He probably is. He got dropped in his last fight a couple of times against Max Bursak, which is a bit worrying. And I don't think David Lemieux belongs at 168, but he's too big to get back down to 160. That's the problem. He's too big for 160, too small for 168. Yeah, that's possible, Copend. If Lemieux fights next week, so yeah, if he gets a quick knockout, then it's possible to fight Ryder in November. Yeah, it's definitely still possible. Definitely still possible. Oh yeah, I was going to make a video about this, Harvey, but I didn't in the end. Have you seen the potential opponents for Billy Joe Saunders? Martin Murray, John Ryder, Rocky Fielding, and Fedor Chudinov. Yeah, the only opponent there I really kind of like is John Ryder. The first fight was very good. If you've not seen Billy Joe versus John Ryder 1, I would definitely watch it. It was a really close fight, really competitive, quite a good fight as well. I think he's the best option right now. I think he's the guy with most momentum, despite coming off a loss. I think he's at the higher level out of all those names right now. So yeah, John Ryder would definitely be my first choice. Following John Ryder, maybe Fedor Chudinov, then Martin Murray, then Rocky Fielding. I really, really, really don't want to see Rocky Fielding fight Billy Joe. I really don't. Christ, can you imagine Rocky Fielding Billy Joe Saunders for a world title? It's embarrassing. That's not good enough. Rocky Fielding doesn't deserve a shot at Billy Joe at all. As for Martin Murray, I mean, what's this guy done recently? Last time I saw this guy fight was against Hassan and Dam, and he looked terrible that night. He got beat, actually. So, yeah, Martin Murray's another guy I don't really have any interest in fighting Billy Joe. Fedor Chudinov, I could kind of understand. I think that's passable, to be honest. But John Ryder's the fight, in my opinion. John Ryder is definitely the fight. I stuck it in the net, pal. Big up. Big up to Julio. Big up. Gennady Golovkin beat the crap out of Lemieux years ago. Yeah, he's never really looked quite right since, to be honest, Philo. He's never really looked quite right since. Ben Haynes, Baranchik or Zepeda. I've got Baranchik in that fight. Chances are it goes for distance because Zepeda is very tricky. He's a southpaw, he can box. But I don't think he's going to do enough to keep Baranchik off him, to be honest. I really don't. I can see Baranchik mauling him to a decision. That's what I kind of see. Baranchik is very physically strong. Yeah, he lacks some boxing skills, but the guy is so physical in there. He's really strong. Gave Josh Taylor a lot of problems, let's not forget. He really did. He really did. Yo, big up to G-Man Boxing. He says, big up Del. Josh Taylor should give the fight we want, the OD rematch. Yes, sir. I want to see O'Hara Davis versus Tyan Booth at a catch weight. That's what I want to see. 160-pound catch weight. O'Hara Davis versus Tyan Booth. That's what we want to see. That's what we want to see. But big up to G-Man Boxing. Taylor versus Ramirez would be good. I think it goes similar to Taylor Prograis. Yeah, I think it'll be a bit of a war, O'Neal. But me personally, I think Taylor would actually beat Ramirez a lot more convincingly than he did Prograis. I'll be honest with you, A. O'Neal. I think Prograis is a better fighter than Ramirez. I think Josh Taylor's already beat the hardest guy he could have fought in that division. That's how I see it personally. I might be wrong. Ramirez is definitely good. He's a good fighter, a tough fighter, and it'll be a hard fight. But I think Taylor's going to beat Ramirez convincingly in a fairly competitive, tough fight, to be honest. Josh Taylor versus Tyrone McKenna in Japan, December 31st main event. Christ. Yeah, big up to Joseph, man. Big up to Joseph. Joyce been sparring with Anthony Joshua. Better, stronger, more skilled version of Daniel Dubois. That's going to put him in good stead. That is very good sparring, Joseph. That is very good sparring for Joe Joyce. I have to say, credit to his management or his trainer or whatever for getting that sparring. That's going to put him in very good stead, like you said. That's a very good point. That is excellent sparring for this fight. You have to say. That's very good sparring. Shepherd of Sons, yeah, big up to Shepherd of Sons, man. He says Hrgović and Yoka knock out Dubois. We shall see, man. I certainly agree with Hrgović. As for Tony Yoka, he looked good in his last fight against Johan Duhaupas. But, you know, I'm still not sold on Tony Yoka as a pro. There's something about that guy. You know when you just get a gut feeling that this guy can't take a punch and he's going to get knocked out real soon. I get that feeling with Yoka. And the guy was knocked out several times in the amateurs. But it's not because of that. I just don't see the guy as... I see this guy just... I don't know. I'm not convinced by Tony Yoka. I've got that gut feeling, you know, solid fundamentals. Yoka is good, but, you know, I'm not entirely convinced by Tony Yoka right now. I'm not entirely convinced. Oh, big up to Unrivaled Boxing Talk and News, man. Just, flying in with a super chat. Would Mike McCallum go pound for pound #1 today? I tell you what, Unrivaled, he'd have a very good chance because he wouldn't duck anybody for a start. And if we look at Mike McCallum, he would clean out 154 in my opinion right now. He would clean out 154 and he would do very well at middleweight. So yeah, Mike McCallum definitely could be pound for pound in this era if he was about. Head-to-head right now at 154 to 160, I'm not sure I'd pick anyone to beat him, to be honest. But there we go. Big up to Unrivaled Boxing Talk and News. If Ryder got the decision, then Billy Joe Ryder 2 would have been very sellable. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it would have. Unification fight. First fight was very close. Very good fight. So yeah, 100%. I'd still like to see a rematch even now, to be honest. I mean, does anybody want to see Billy Joe Saunders versus Rocky Fielding? Who wants to see that fight? Only people who want to see that fight is Rocky Fielding and his mum and dad. Nobody wants to see Billy Joe versus Martin Murray 4 years later. Nobody wants to see that fight. They're garbage fights. John Ryder is definitely the best opponent for Billy Joe Saunders right now, realistically. In my opinion, anyway. In my opinion. Yeah, intangible. I've been saying this for quite some time. 168. There are some good fights to make at 168. Benavidez Plant, Smith versus Billy Joe, and then the winners fight each other. There are fights to make, but none of these guys are doing anything. It's so static at 168. It's like a wasteland right now. All of these guys are scared to fight each other. Just a division that is devoid of any real matchups right now. Kavanagh, he says Ty and Booth would do him in. He probably would. Ty and Booth is too big for O'Hara Davis. I would watch it, though. I would definitely watch it. Ty and Booth versus O'Hara Davis. I might pay for that on pay-per-view. Jacobs' fight is garbage considering the fighters Matchroom have at 168. Yeah, exactly, man. I mean, Jacobs versus Rosado. I can't get over that fight. It's a bad fight. It really is. It's a bad fight. I could have kind of understood, yeah, if it was deep on a stacked undercard. Fair enough. I could accept it then. But as a headliner, Danny Jacobs versus Gabriel Rosado in 2020 at 168. Bear in mind, Rosado started at 154. That's poor. That is really, really poor. Poor, man. Yeah, big up to Nordic Warrior in the chat. Big up to you, sir. Hopefully you're doing well. Oh, Christ. Justin Martial. Malik Scott's going to be taking Mark Breland's position. I've heard a few rumours on Twitter that Malik Scott is going to be working closer with Deontay Wilder now. I mean, what does that mean? He just seems like another yes man around Deontay Wilder, to be honest. That's not really going to do anything, in my opinion. You know, Mark Breland arguably was the only guy in that camp who had Wilder's best interest at heart, and he got sacked, basically for throwing in the towel, saving his man for another fight, for another day. Mark Breland, you know, he done the right thing, and he's lost his job because of it. Just a snaky move, in my opinion, from Deontay Wilder. But there we go. It is what it is. Exactly, Nordic. I agree. Yoka could turn out to be another Price or another Dimitrenko when he's tested. We don't know. Exactly, yeah. Because people do forget, Alexander Dimitrenko at one point was kind of highly hyped up. He was viewed as a prospect at one point, Dimitrenko, obviously, as was Price. So yeah, Tony Yoka, the jury is still out on him. I've got my doubts personally. I've got my doubts in regards to his chin, his ability to fight in a 12-round fight, his heart, his stamina. I've got a lot of question marks about Tony Yoka. I really do. But we'll see. We'll see. Maybe he'll surprise me. He's decent. He's not terrible. Who would you rate at number one at welterweight? It's a hard one, to be honest, because Manny Pacquiao's not fought in over a year. Errol Spence hasn't fought in over a year. Terence Crawford hasn't fought since last December. It's a hard one, to be honest. I mean, take your pick, really. I wouldn't really have a number one personally right now. Maybe based on reputation and what he's done in the past, Manny Pacquiao. But none of these guys have been active enough, in my opinion, at 147. So I'd leave it vacant. I would leave the number one spot vacant at 147, personally. Just my opinion, though. Ramirez versus Taylor should be in Glasgow for my personal convenience. Yo, Nicola Sturgeon, though, she's not going to allow fans in Scotland for like 7 years. Yeah, but I'd love to see that fight in the UK if we can get fans back. That'd be amazing. Taylor versus Ramirez, yeah, that'd be a great fight in the UK. But by the time that fight does happen, regardless of where it is, I think we're going to still be in the same position, to be honest, unfortunately. But there we go. Pigeon Mike Tyson. Mike's 5 losses, 55 wins, came up short against James Toney a few times, and Roy back end of his career. Love watching him. Yeah, man. No doubt. Mike McCallum was a very good fighter, Pigeon. Very good fighter. Excellent body puncher. Body puncher. The real body snatcher, Mike McCallum. He was a very good fighter. Very clean fighter. Great on the inside. Good technical skills. Yeah, his first fight with James Toney was a very good fight. Excellent fight. Justin Martial. Look at Justin Martial, man. Callum Smith is the boogeyman of the super middleweight division. Christ, there's no such thing at 168. There's no such thing. Coppin 09, I'll be surprised if Billy Joe Saunders could make a fight at 168 this side of Christmas. Yeah, last time I saw Billy Joe Saunders, which was maybe 3-4 weeks ago, he looked pretty fat to me. So, yeah, you could be right, man. You could be right. Callum Smith KOs Billy Joe Saunders. It's definitely possible, Justin. It's definitely possible. Billy Joe, to me, hasn't looked right at 168. The guy looks a tad slower. He looks more hittable. He just doesn't look as good to me. His gas tank doesn't look anywhere near as good. I think Billy Joe is definitely beatable at 168. And you know what? I would actually favour Callum Smith to beat him, to be honest. I would pick Callum Smith to beat Billy Joe A. O'Neill. I'd pick Callum Smith. It's a hard one, though, because neither guy's looked good for quite some time. So it's a hard one. I personally felt Billy Joe looked pretty poor against the Argentinian gentleman in America. And he also looked pretty poor against Shifa Isufi. So, yeah, it's a hard one to call. It's a hard one to call right now. It really is. It really is. JB Low, new media boxing channels are demonising Mark Breland for views and propaganda. It's a disgrace. Yeah, I'm not surprised, though. You know, they threw that guy under the bus a long time ago, accusing the guy of being an informant for Tyson Fury, drugging Deontay Wilder, throwing in the towel too early. Listen, man, Mark Breland did the right thing. He saw his man getting beaten up, and he threw in the towel. He's the only guy in that corner that has experience of top-level boxing. He knows what he's seeing. He knows his man was taking a beating, and he saved him for another day. Mark Breland did the right thing, and he's lost his job because of it. So it is what it is, man. I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. Ty and Booth is too strong, too big, too strong for O'Hara Davis, just like Kyle Froch was for Gennady Golovkin. Fuck's sake. That quote never gets old, does it? Too big, too strong. Yo, big up to the Crazy D3, man. Big up to Crazy D3. Yeah, man, hopefully you guys are all enjoying your weekends, man. Hopefully you're having a nice, relaxing Saturday. I've basically done fuck all today. It's been nice. It's been really nice, man. I ain't gonna lie. Sometimes those weekends are good, you know, when you do absolutely nothing. Yeah, the Jacobs fight is a total mismatch. Yeah, sorry, the Jacobs fight is a total mismatch. Disappointed in my guys from DAZN. Might give one of them a call and tell them to get their act together. Sorry, Pigeon Cowden beef. Funny how after Malik Scott took a dive versus Deontay, next week he was in a new Bentley. They say a gift from Deontay. Yeah, exactly, man. That Malik Scott Deontay Wilder fight was so fishy, man. So fishy. I think that fight was a dive, personally. I really do. I really do. That's one of those fights where I wouldn't be shocked at all if it turned out to be a dive. Do you know what? I think I've mentioned this on the channel in the past. Another fight where I felt the fight was kind of fixed was... Do you guys remember Seth Mitchell? It was Seth Mitchell versus Jonathan Banks 2. Jonathan Banks knocked out Seth Mitchell in the first fight. And at that time, Seth Mitchell was a big prospect in America in the heavyweight division. They had a rematch, and basically Seth Mitchell won the rematch. But basically, Jonathan Banks wasn't doing anything in that fight. He was getting outboxed by a guy in Seth Mitchell who started boxing at like 24 years old. Couldn't box worth a toffee. And Jonathan Banks got outboxed. That fight was so fishy, man. I'm sure he got paid to lay down in that fight. I'm sure of it. I'm sure of it. I'm not surprised, Pigeon Cowden beef. I'm not surprised at all. Deontay Wilder, you know, he wants to be surrounded by yes men, people who tell him what he wants to hear. I mean, listen, regardless of who's training Deontay Wilder, I don't think this guy's attitude is right. Bear in mind, yeah, this is a guy who says, I only need 2 seconds to win a fight. I don't need to win rounds because I knock people out. That sort of attitude is not it's not going to lend me to believe that you are willing to improve technically as a fighter. If you think power is going to keep on bailing you out, why would you improve as a fighter technically? And that's what Deontay Wilder's done. He's relied on his power far too much, and he's basically ignored the fundamentals of boxing. He's fell behind as a result. And yeah, listen, Deontay Wilder, the guy needs a shrink. He needs a quack more than a fucking new trainer, in my opinion. Mr. HRP, big up to Mr. HRP. Animals are aliens, hieroglyphics, the writings of the walls, flies are UFOs. For fuck's sake. Big up to Mr. HRP. Shout out to you. Yeah, Spence might need a year or two, and him and Crawford will be immense. Yeah, exactly. That's a very good fight. Very good fight. More than likely, though, that fight's going to happen when it's way too late. Or the fight never happens at all, which I think will happen. I don't think the fight's ever going to happen, personally. I don't think it's ever going to happen, Crawford versus Spence. We're going to miss out, in my opinion. I'd love it unrivaled. If that fight was in England, I'd probably go. But the way this country's going right now, we're not going to have fans in arenas for a long time. For a long time. Big up to D. D says, any boxing on tonight? Yeah, there is a top-ranked card late at night. Baranchik versus Sapida. It's a pretty good fight, to be honest. Pretty decent fight. I like that fight. Big up to Minimax Boxing. Hopefully you're doing well. Jim McDonald as well in the house. Big up to Jim. Big up to Jim. Ian Ward, Evening Dell. Fury might just employ Mark Breland just to get in Wilder's head. Yeah, I would certainly look at doing that if I was Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury's the type of guy to do that anyway. Plus Mark Breland. Listen, Mark Breland obviously has ties to the Kronk gym, so I wouldn't be shocked if that happened. I wouldn't be shocked. I felt sorry for Mark Breland, to be honest, because that guy, man, he always comes across really well. Soft-spoken guy, you know. He knows the sport. He's been involved in it for a long time. Olympic gold medalist, former world champion. He's been knocked out. He knows what it's like. And to get rid of this guy the way they did, I felt was disgusting. I mean, Deontay Wilder, he's surrounded by people like JDs. What does JDs know about boxing? Seriously. Me and there'll be people in the chat who'd be a better trainer than JDs. JDs, man, just comes across as a complete slime ball. And Shelley Finkel, he can't be trusted either. Deontay Wilder is surrounded by absolute leeches. And this story is not going to end well, I'm telling you now. The Deontay Wilder story is not going to end well. The people around him are just leeches, telling him what they want to hear, getting their cut. The only guy who did what was right got sacked. Embarrassing. Absolutely embarrassing as far as I'm concerned. But there we go. There we go. Yeah, big up to UCTV Boxing, man. I see. He says, I agree. Malik's a terrible choice, but if it furthers the weight behind Wilder's words that he'd rather die in the ring than quit, Wilder was gutted when the fight was stopped. Guy's a plum, but in my opinion, has huge heart and pride. Yeah, no doubt. I don't question the guy's heart and pride, but you know, at some point you do need somebody looking out for you, and I think Mark Breland was just doing that basically. And yeah, man, he got sacked as a result. I mean, at the time, in real time, the guy was bleeding from his ear. His balance was way off. He was getting bashed to the body and the head. He was taking a beating, man. And yeah, I think he done the right thing personally. But, bro, I don't know, man. I don't know. If he wants to change trainers, then listen, cool. But Malik Scott, Jesus. Malik Scott. And it's ironic. It's ironic he's choosing Malik Scott, man. It really is. You know, considering that this guy's taken dives, doesn't have much heart. It's kind of ironic considering what people have been saying about that second fight. But whatever. Whatever. Who was it who mentioned Buddy McGirt? Sorry, I've lost the comment. Crazy D3. Wilder should link up with Buddy McGirt, in my opinion. Yeah, see, Buddy McGirt would be a good addition, in my opinion. Buddy McGirt has a very good habit of getting in a personal relationship with a fighter. He kind of befriends them and gives them confidence, kind of thing. He kind of builds guys back up really well. He done very well with Arturo Gatti. Done very well. He done very well with Sergey Kovalev as well. I think Buddy McGirt could be a good choice for Deontay Wilder. Maybe he could get him working off that jab a bit more, setting up that right hand. But yeah, I'm not convinced by Malik Scott. I'm really not. Malik Scott. Christ. Malik Scott. Diobli Nui, he says Breland should have let him get fucked up some more. Yo, he probably wishes he did right now, to be honest. He probably wishes he did. But there we go. Malik Scott opened an Malik Scott opened an OnlyFans account with his missus. Breland can't match that. Yeah, exactly, bro. Christ almighty. Yeah, big up to Jim McDonald in the chat. Big up to Jim. Christ. Wilder's not got rhythm. He can't box with Buddy. Yeah, maybe. Maybe someone like Ronnie Shields. Ronnie Shields has some experience with heavyweights. Maybe Ronnie Shields. I've heard a rumor going around. Somebody told me on the channel about Joey Gamache could be in Wilder's camp. I think that would be a good addition, Joey Gamache. A lot of people speak about Joey Gamache very highly in the trade. So maybe Joey Gamache could be a good choice for Wilder to have in camp. People like that. I would have kept Mark Breland and basically added a couple of more people in camp, personally. I think that would have been fine, but whatever, man. Teddy Atlas is better for Wilder. I'm not sure. I don't think Teddy Atlas and Wilder would work when you look at their personalities, kind of thing. Fuck's sake. St. Brit Sports, let's be honest. Nobody can help him at this stage. He's a bum. Yeah, maybe it's too late for Deontay Wilder. He's 35 years old, whatever he is. He's fell in love with his power. As a result, he's not improved as a boxer. And yeah, it might be too late now for Deontay. It might be too late. Like I said, Deontay needs to really get a grip of what happened on February 22nd. He needs to take responsibility for what happened. Allow the excuses, all of this nonsense. Because when you make excuses for anything in life, you don't address the issue and you don't improve. Because when you make excuses, you're basically saying that it was not in your control. If something's not in your control, then you don't have to improve, right? That's what Deontay Wilder's doing. He's making all of these excuses, man. And that's not a good mindset if you want to improve yourself anywhere in life, as far as I'm concerned, whether it be as a fighter or whatever. You need to really address what went wrong, what you did wrong, what you could have done better, and go from there, But there we go. Listen, Deontay, the problem is with him, in my opinion. He needs to sort his own head out. But there we go. Derek James for Wilder. I do like Derek James as a trainer, to be honest. But I'm not sure he's the right fit for Wilder. What experience does Derek James have with heavyweights? Maybe someone like Tommy Brooks, a veteran trainer from the US. Maybe someone like Tommy Brooks would be a good fit for Deontay Wilder. That could be a good fit. I know Tommy Brooks' name don't really get mentioned these days, but I don't think Tommy Brooks would be a bad choice for Wilder. How can Wilder improve at this age? Best he can hope for is damage limitation and a puncher's chance. I agree. I think I agree, Hashman. I do like Derek James as a trainer, but yeah, for Wilder, I'm not convinced that that's the right guy personally. Ben Davison, Christ. Oh, this is a good point. Breland obviously didn't train Wilder any. No traits from Breland have ever been transferred to Wilder. It's all JD's. Maybe D. But my theory is the fact that it's mainly down to Wilder. I'm not sure whether it really matters who's training Wilder, especially when he was unbeaten, because, like I said, this was a guy who believed in his power so much that he felt he never had to improve as a boxer. And I mean, you can come to that conclusion by paraphrasing Wilder what he said. I need to be perfect for 2 seconds. I don't mind losing rounds. These sort of comments don't lead me to believe that you're serious about improving as a boxer. Do you know what I mean? I'm not sure it really mattered who was training Wilder when he was unbeaten, to be honest. Do you know what I'm trying to say? I think it was Wilder's mindset that was a big problem as well. Now, maybe you can blame that on the trainers in a sense for not actually getting him in that mindset, but I don't know, man. Like Hashman said, I think Wilder doesn't listen. I think that's a big problem for Wilder. Mark Ramsey, I like Mark Ramsey. He does have experience with heavyweights. But yeah, I don't think Mark Ramsey's going to move from Canada. Mark Ramsey's got his base in Canada, doing really well. I'm not sure about that, to be honest. Yeah, he only wants yes men. I agree, Hashman. He only wants yes men. Yep. I agree. Yeah, exactly, A. O'Neill. Wilder has not accepted what happened. If he believed the excuses, he would be confident. Like Fury made no excuses for not taking that belt the first time. Exactly. Yep, 100%. 100%. Jonathan Banks for Wilder. Now, that could be interesting, MMA champ, the GOAT. That could be interesting. Jonathan Banks does have, obviously, experience with heavyweights. Trained Vladimir Klitschko, worked in that camp for a long time. He's doing okay as a trainer right now. That could be a good shout. Plus, Jonathan Banks. Listen, Jonathan Banks has knowledge of the Kronk style, obviously. Worked with Emmanuel Stewart. So, Jonathan Banks could be a good shout. That could be a good shout. Big up to B-Space in the building. Big up to B-Space. Hopefully you're doing well, bro. Imagine if Wilder trained at the Kronk gym early in his career. Could he be similar to Adonis Stevenson? Yeah. Wilder does have a style to be trained by a Kronk trainer. Long, rangy, power in the straight punches. Yeah. I think if Wilder learnt with Kronk from early on, he would have definitely been more effective at what he did, in my opinion. It's beautiful. Wilder needs to go to Adam Booth, Matchroom Mong. Oh, shit. Yep. Deontay's got a murderer's row of opponents like the hitman Gerald Washington and that legend Luis Ortiz. Facts. Don't forget the Nightmare Areola. Yep, facts. Christ. Yeah, I was watching his highlights, Hashman, the other week, Deontay Wilder in the Olympics. And yeah, back then, Wilder actually threw combinations. Yeah, he was a bit raw with it, off balance, etc. But he was throwing combinations. He was throwing a left hook, like you said. He was working the body, believe it or not. Yeah. But yeah, Wilder's just not improved technically as a fighter for quite some time. That's the reality. Which is a shame, I guess. But there we go. There we go. I think there was a lot better fighter in Wilder if he was handled correctly. But there we go. Yeah, Fury. Wilder started his camp way before Fury, though. Yeah, he has. But listen, he needs to. He needs to. Let's be honest about it. He really does need to. Assassin's Creed, yep. Makhmudov versus Dylan Carmen should be a good fight. Carmen comes to fight, yeah. Carmen can punch a bit, so yeah, that's decent. It's decent enough. It's decent enough. It's okay. Solid, I would say. Solid. It's solid. Wilder's best win is Sergey Liakovic. At least he was a legit WBO heavyweight champion for one fight, yeah. Although Liakovic was shot to bits when Wilder fought him, to be honest. Shot to bits. Jonathan Banks has links with Sugar Hill. He won't do that. Yeah, that's a good point. Hashman, that's a very good point. Send Wilder to Adam Booth. Can you imagine? Can you imagine Deontay and Adam Booth? The Dark Lord, Adam Booth. That'd be amazing. That'd be amazing. Oh dear. Dominic Ingle for Wilder. Yeah, get Deontay Wilder on that Ingle juice. That could be a good shout. That could be a good shout. Fucking hell. A. O'Neill, what do you think of Fury? In my opinion, he doesn't have that killer instinct. He can box, but doesn't seem to know when to push on for a win. Could have beaten Parker if he threw more punches. Yeah, I agree. I agree with you in regards to the killer instinct. Doesn't really know when to. He doesn't know when to force the initiative. Not the biggest puncher. Yeah, he's kind of stuck with like an amateur style. He can box a bit. He can move a bit, but just doesn't seem physically imposing enough. Doesn't hit hard enough. Quite frankly, I think Huey Fury is always going to come unstuck, but he's always going to make guys look pretty bad, in my opinion. One of those kind of fringe level fighters, fringe contender, I guess you would call him. Yeah, like a fringe contender, Huey Fury. Nothing more, nothing less. St. Brit Sports just proves how bad JD's is as a trainer. Look at how technically bad Wilder and his brother are. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, after all these years, I agree. What are JD's credentials in boxing? What are they? Was he a boxer-sized trainer? You know, training like fat women on the weekend to lose a bit of weight? Because that guy, man, he's got no credentials at all. None at all, man. Christ. Marcellus Wilder is more Marcellus Wallace from the film Pulp Fiction. Yeah, bound and gagged in the basement with Bruce Willis. Yeah, that's a sick film, man. Yeah, Pulp Fiction. I've not seen that movie in so fucking long. So long. It's a great movie, though, man. Do you know what, Pigeon? I might have to stick that in tonight, give it a watch. If it's on Netflix anyway, I might give it a watch. I love that movie. That's a brilliant film, man. It's a brilliant film. By the way, lads, sorry if I sound coldy. My hay fever's been fucking killing me recently. I promise it's not like cocaine use or anything like that. I'm not like a fucking cokehead. You know, it's not that, I promise. Imagine Wilder dropping his hands and throwing bolo punches. Christ. Yo, UCTV, that's Sunday, mate. Buatsi's fighting tomorrow night, believe it or not. I've watched Marco Kalic, the guy he's fighting. I mean, Marco Kalic, what can you say? Like, he was a decent amateur, and you can tell that in his style, but he doesn't seem physically imposing enough. Doesn't really punch hard. I think Buatsi's going to walk through this dude, to be honest with you. I really do. I'm not convinced that Kalic is really going to do anything in this fight. It's a pretty poor card when you look at it. The only fight I really care about is Alan Babbage versus Niall Kennedy. I kind of like that fight, but apart from that, I don't give a fuck, man. Honestly, I really don't. It's a bad card. It's not a great card at all. But I do like Buatsi. I think he's a good prospect. Who do you have in B-roll versus Artur Beterbiev? Listen, man, I'm the wrong person to ask because Beterbiev is my favourite fighter in boxing right now. So I'm saying Beterbiev. I think he would start badly. I think Bivol would win the early rounds with his movement, with his boxing skills. But I think eventually Beterbiev would slow him down, beat him down, and stop him late on. Similar to the Vosic fight, basically. I think it'll be similar to the Vodcek fight. That's how I see it going. It's a good fight, though. That fight needs to happen. Dmitry Bivol versus Artur Beterbiev. But what's Dmitry Bivol doing right now? He's not fought since, what was it, October last year? I know, obviously, we've had the pandemic, but still, there's been no news on Bivol for ages. Who's he going to fight? I mean, it's disappointing. It's disappointing. Boxing Brains, the guy who Tommy McCarthy's fighting, I forgot his name. What was his name? I forgot his name. But, yeah, he doesn't look all that special to me, personally. Not looking forward to the Monday hangover. Yeah, I'm actually drinking tonight. I'm drinking tonight. These are my first beers in, shit, how long's it been? I think just over 3 weeks. So yeah, I've done okay, you know. I thought I'd treat myself, get myself a cheeky little 4-pack of San Miguel. And yeah, man, enjoying it. I agree, G-Man. JD's comes across as a little rat. Who the fuck is he? Yeah, I agree. He's a scumbag. Yeah, Pulp Fiction is one of the GOATs, no doubt about it. In terms of Quentin Tarantino, is it my favourite Quentin Tarantino film? I do like Reservoir Dogs a lot. I love that film. It's a toss-up between Reservoir Dogs and Pulp Fiction for me, with Quentin Tarantino. I like Django as well. That's a good film. True Romance. I know True Romance wasn't directed by Quentin Tarantino, but I think he wrote the script, maybe. That's another great film. True Romance is a brilliant film, man. When I say to people, let's watch True Romance, put it on, give it a watch, they'll say to me, oh, what's wrong with you? Do you watch fucking like romantic comedies or something? No, it's they always assume by the title it's like some fucking rom-com or something. It's a great fucking film, man. True Romance, brilliant film. Those who know, it's a fucking great film. JD's was a crime reporter in Alabama. Is that true? Jesus. Sounds like it could be true. Only people of our class would feel the need to deny cocaine use when we sniffle. Yeah, exactly, bro. Exactly. No, I'm joking. I'm definitely not on cocaine right now. I'm not hyper enough to be on cocaine. You know, I'm not hyper enough, so there we go. I'm not like fucking panting and gurning at the fucking mic. Oh, shit. Yeah, listen, MMA champ the GOAT. Babic isn't great, but at this level, you know, he's kind of fun to watch. He is what he is, really, isn't he? He is what he is. You know, he should really be a cruiserweight, to be honest with you, Alan Babic. He's too small to be a heavyweight. Far too small. Should Tony Yoka fight against Manuel Shah for the WBA title? Why not? He would beat Manuel Shah. He would definitely beat Manuel Shah. Fucking hell, this beer's giving me gas, you know. I'm not drunk in 3 weeks, and it's getting to me, mate. It's getting to me. Fucking hell. Babic is another 2-minute matchroom hype job. Absolute no-hoper. You're probably right, Kavanagh. I don't rate him that highly, personally. But he's fun to watch. He is what he is, man. He is what he is. Do you think Casemiro is the next Pacquiao? No. He's a very good fighter, no doubt about it. Arguably, pound for pound, maybe. But not Manny Pacquiao. He's not the next Manny, but he's a very good fighter. Makes you think JD's found something on Wilder, job security. Yeah, there we go. The conspiracies are out there. You never know. But he doesn't seem trustworthy to me. Do you know, like with people, I always kind of judge people at first glance. And I'm usually pretty spot on. You can just tell by somebody's aura their energy, what they're about. And like I said, when I've done that in life in general, it rarely does me wrong when I go with my gut instinct on someone, what they're like, you know. And I just see JD's as a bit of a snake, to be honest. Just comes across that way. But yeah, it's one of those things, man. Big up to A O'Neill, man, on the same San Miguel. Yes, sir. I do. I don't mind a bit of San Miguel. I don't mind it. I don't mind it. No, MMA champ would go. No, I don't think Haney's the next Mayweather. There's never going to be a next Mayweather. We've heard a lot about guys who are going to be the next Mayweather. Broner for a start. Tank Davis. There's never going to be another Floyd. Devin's a good young talent, no doubt about it, but he's never gonna hit the heights that Floyd did. Devon's got flaws, in my opinion. He's got flaws. A good fighter though. He's a good fighter. He's a good fighter. Devin. Yo, smash the like, lads. By the way, be much appreciated. Much appreciated. Who do you have in Emmanuel Navarrete versus Ruben Villa? I've got Navarrete, MMA champ, the GOAT. Navarrete, yeah, he's coming up in weight, but Ruben Villa is the ideal guy to fight. Ruben Villa, yeah, he's a good boxer, but he can't really punch, to be honest. I'm not convinced that Villa is going to keep Navarrete at bay. I think Navarrete is going to walk through him, to be honest. It's a decent fight, though. Ruben Villa's not bad, from what I've seen. He's not a terrible fighter. But I don't think he's got enough for Navarrete, to be honest. I think Navarrete was waiting to move up in weight. He was massive in his last weight class. So, yeah, I think Navarrete is going to look quite good in that fight, personally. I think he's going to look quite good. Babic is terrible. Won't surprise me if he loses tomorrow. Yeah, he is very open, Alan Babic, and he's very small. He's very small. But Niall Kennedy really isn't great. From what I've seen, he really isn't great. Fucking hell. Would rather see Yoka versus Bryan for the regular title? Yeah, that's a decent fight for Tony Yoka. Tony Yoka versus Trevor Bryan. Yeah, that's a good fight. This might be a stupid question, but who do you have in Artur Beterbiev versus Adam Dines? I've got Artur Beterbiev in the first 4 rounds. Knockout. Brutal knockout, Artur Beterbiev. Babic is all or bust for 3 rounds, and Kennedy is not the guy to last 3 heavy-hitting rounds against him. I agree, big boys boxing. I agree. I'm not convinced that Kennedy's durable enough to fight, to really do anything with Alan Babic. JD's or Shelley Finkel is Wilder's MK Ultra handler. Yeah, but that whole setup, that whole camp, that whole team, just seems so. I don't know what the word I'm looking for. False, I guess. Do you know what I mean? I wish Deontay Wilder would get away from these guys personally. I really do. I really do, but there we go. There we go. I wouldn't trust Shelley Finkel as far as I could throw him. That slippery little fucker. Look at the state of that guy. That guy, man. I wouldn't trust that guy with anything. Christ. Fucking hell. Do you think Virgil Ortiz is the next Juan Manuel Marquez? Nah, not stylistically. Nah, he's totally different. Virgil Ortiz is more of like a boxer puncher, I guess, like an aggressive boxer puncher. Marquez was like a counter puncher who could slug, who could box as well. I think Marquez was a lot more. He had a lot more nuance to his style, to be honest. Yeah, JD's is a yes man, so he is. Totally agree, Jim. Totally agree. Oh, Christ. Yeah, I heard about this. Copend 09. Hrgovic. Do you like Hrgovic's next fight against Rydell Booker? At least he's getting active again. It's good that he's staying active, but Rydell Booker, Christ. Say no more. Say no more. Bloody hell. Who do you have in Errol Spence Jr. versus Danny Garcia? I've not made my official prediction yet, but what I will say is this. Errol Spence Jr. only started sparring Monday this week. He's not sparred or had any action in the ring for over a year. Plus, he's had the car crash. Yo, man, listen, if Danny Garcia is ever going to beat Errol Spence Jr., now's the time. If Errol is still not right and there's something wrong, we are going to find out against Danny Garcia. Trust me, we're going to find out. That's why this fight is so intriguing to me. Because if Errol Spence Jr. is damaged, he's going to lose. I'm telling you that now. He's going to lose. So, listen, I'm not making my prediction yet. But it's a good fight, and I'm very intrigued. I'm very intrigued. Very intrigued. It's a good fight, man. It's a good fight. UCTV Boxing, I think Haney might be the most overhyped fighter since David Price. Yeah, Devin Haney's done nothing for a long time. Last fought in November, I believe, against Santiago. Now he's fighting Yuriorkis Gamboa. I was mentioning earlier about this Gamboa fight. I've got a really big problem with this fight. I was looking at the WBC rankings when this fight was first talked about. Maybe that was like a couple of months ago, I would say. A couple of months ago, Yuriorkis Gamboa was nowhere to be seen in the WBC's top 15. Miraculously, when this fight was signed, Gamboa appears in the top 10 of the WBC rankings. That's a complete disgrace. An absolute disgrace, as far as I'm concerned. It's a bum fight. I've got no interest in Gamboa versus Haney. No interest at all. Gamboa. Christ. Honestly. You could have got someone better than Gamboa. Even someone like Richard Comey. Yeah, fair enough, he's coming off a loss. But he was a world champion in his last fight. Comey would have been perfect. He's top 10 ranked. Being a world champion, he can punch. Why not Gamboa? Sorry, why not Comey, sorry. Why not Richard Comey? Someone like that. That would have been fine for Devin Haney. Absolutely fine. But Gamboa. Fuck off with that garbage, man. Gamboa. Christ. I'm seething about that fight. What a complete waste of time that is. Complete waste of time. Yo, big up to John Gonzalez, man. Big up to John Gonzalez. Hopefully you're doing well, bro. Hopefully you're keeping well. Yeah, I agree. A. O'Neill. Babbage is a brawler. He'll have a good fight, but we deserve better quality. I totally agree, A. O'Neill. I totally agree. The card tomorrow night is poor, in my opinion. They sell it though as if there's a world title fight on this card because of that female fight. That doesn't count to me. That's not boxing to me. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. Not interested. Chantel Cameron versus whoever it is. Not interested. It's a terrible card, man. Terrible card. I mean, come on, man. I might just watch the I don't know. I'll watch the Babbage fight and I'll watch the main event. That's it. It's not a good card. Yeah, the fight's been postponed, MB. Yeah. Apparently, that fight is going to go down end of this year now, sort of December time, between Beterbiev and Dinez. It's going to go down end of this year, from what I've been hearing. Yeah, I agree. MMA champ the GOAT. Totally agree. There are a bunch of yes men. Wilder needs to... Sorry. They are a bunch of yes men. Wilder needs a trainer with experience, gems to drop, and that really cares about him. I totally agree. Yeah. I think yeah. Maybe I'll make another video about it, but yeah. I'm not convinced a lot of these people have Wilder's best interests at heart, to be honest. I'm really not convinced of that. Particularly Shelley Finkel. Big Boys Boxing, if Devin Vargas can stop Kennedy, Babbage will stop him easier. Not that Babbage is good, just Kennedy is worse. I agree, Big Boys Boxing. I totally agree. I think this fight, though, for Babbage, it's a good fight for Babic at this stage. You know, 5th pro fight. This is perfectly acceptable. But yeah, it is what it is. Finkel was a bulbhead bellend. Yeah, the guy looks peculiar, man. Honestly, can you imagine like waking up in the dead of night and like you hear somebody downstairs, like you hear somebody's broke in, and you see that guy creeping around in the dark? You'd think it's fucking ET. That guy's a creep. Honestly, that guy's a creep. He doesn't look like a human being. Mark Breland about to release No Vaseline 2. Oh, fuck's sake. Oh, you fucking hell. Oh, shit. Oh, you fucking cunt. You got me there. You got me there. Ah, shit. That's a good one, man. What's happened to Josh Warrington? Haven't heard a word on him. Josh Warrington, apparently, according to Eddie Hearn, they're working on Josh Warrington's next fight, and apparently he could be fighting Can Zhu, the Chinese fighter. I think he's got like the WBA regular belt in that weight class. That'd be a decent fight, in my opinion. That'd be a decent fight. Shit, I'm struggling, man. This hay fever's doing me in now. And yeah, it's definitely hay fever, like I said. Oh, you guys, man. You guys are cracking me up. Christopher Lovejoy is saying Hrgovic's name. Would make more sense for Hrgovic to cream that guy as he's got a ranking at least. Yeah. I agree. Oh, Christ. Yes, man like Levi Khan. Big up to Levi Khan. Hopefully you're doing well in NYC. Hopefully you're keeping well, keeping safe during this crazy time. But nice of you to drop by. Every single stream I've done, I swear you've always showed up, man. So big up to Levi Khan. Round of applause in the chat for Levi Khan. Man like Levi. Haney's fighting a former champ, though. Yo, fucking Riddick Bowe's a former champion. If Daniel Dubois fought Riddick Bowe, you're not going to give the guy credit, are you? It doesn't matter whether Gamboa is a former champion. He's shot to bits. Like, completely shot, in my opinion. He's done. It doesn't prove anything. Just a waste of time, in my opinion. Whereas a former champion like Richard Comey would have made sense. Because he was a champion recently. Yeah, he's coming off a loss, but still, he's had more good form recently than Gamboa has. So there we go. Malik Scott versus Abdi Davtayev on the Wilder Fury 3 undercard. I'd watch it, but it looks like Malik Scott is going to be in Wilder's training team for his next fight. So exactly, Gamboa is cooked, 100%. You streaming tonight, UCTV? Because I might jump on if you are. It depends how tired I fucking get, you know. I do kind of plan on staying up for this fight tonight, but it's whether I can make it. Because I am fucked tonight. Genuinely, I feel fucked. And not in a good way. Not in a good way either. Yeah, I could go into that actually, but it's probably not. It's not a good idea, I guess. But whatever. I completely fucked something up, and I'm fuming. I'm seething. But there we go. Yeah, exactly. D. That fight to me, yeah. I really like both guys as well, but that fight is completely pointless. Danny Jacobs had his tune-up fight at 168 against Chavez Jr. Cool. That was fair enough. But Gabriel Rosado, come on, man. I was saying earlier, why not John Ryder? John Ryder's not got an opponent. That'd be a great fight. Nobody would complain about Danny Jacobs versus John Ryder. Nobody in their right mind anyway would complain. That's a good fight. But fucking Gabriel Rosado. Christ. Yeah, man. Oh, big up to Jazz, man. Thank you very much, bro. Thank you very much. No problem at all, man. It's no problem at all. I had a bit of free time, so I thought I'd fire up a quick live stream, talk some shit. I wasn't gonna go live, but yeah, I had some free time, so why not? Why not? I got Inoue stopping Maloney on Halloween. Yeah, Inoue's gonna walk through Maloney. Yeah, I agree. Bakole versus Zhilei Zhang next. Yeah, that could be a good fight. That could be a good fight. What you'll see, Levi Khan, though, you'll see Eddie Hearn throw Dave Allen in with Zhilei Zhang, that Chinese heavyweight. That's what you'll see. Zhilei Zhang versus Dave Allen. Yeah. Zhilei Zhang versus Dave Allen on the pay-per-view undercard coming to a fucking pay-per-view near you. Trust me. Yeah, this fucking... I swear down, every single time I stream, like something, like I get fucking hay fever or some shit. Every single fucking time. Like proper troll. Yeah, big up to Sporting Advantage, man. Big up to Sporting Advantage. By the way, Sporting Advantage also has a channel, as does Big Boys Boxing, as does UCTV Boxing. And Big Dan has actually uploaded his first video as well. So check all of these guys out, man. Check all of these guys out. Christ. If Rosado dies, it's DAZN's fault. Christ. Rosado's going to be okay, man. He's going to bleed out probably, but he'll be okay. He'll be okay. Del, what's next for Charles Martin? Christ. I think someone like Robert Helenius would be a good fight for Charles Martin, to be honest. I think that would be a good fight for him. Someone like Helenius, I would say. See, what I would have said, if Efe Ajagba was still with the PBC, maybe Ajagba versus Charles Martin, that would be a good fight. But obviously that's not going to happen now, is it? So, whatever. Christ's sake. Big Boys Boxing, I would watch Zhilei Zhang versus Hughie Fury. Yeah, I would pick Hughie Fury to beat Zhilei Zhang, to be honest. I think Hughie Fury is better than Zhang. I've seen Zhang fight a couple of times, and I've really not been impressed with him, to be honest. I think Fury boxes him up. I think Fury outboxes him, to be honest. Zhilei Zhang. Oh, shit. Fuck. Do you prefer IFL TV or Boxing Social as a second option to Blue Collar Sports? Yeah, big up to Levi, man. Me personally, though, I prefer Boxing Social out of those two. I prefer Boxing Social. I don't mind Boxing Social, but even they sometimes get a little bit, safe with their questions when it comes to certain promoters. But Rob Tebbett is certainly better than Kugan Cassius. I know that Rob Tebbett is actually a boxing fan. Like, he genuinely really loves boxing. Whereas Kugan, I think he came into the game like a casual kind of thing. And he basically still is a casual. When you hear this guy do interviews and he will ask certain questions and like I don't like Kugan all that much, to be honest. I'm not a fan of Kugan. Yeah, every time I start a live stream, all of a sudden I become ill or I start feeling worse for wears. It's weird. Maybe I'll get streamer's anxiety. I don't know. Fuck, I don't know. Oh yeah, I heard about that. Levi Khan. Hearn got COVID and his dad too. Yeah. I'm not gonna comment. I'm not gonna comment. I did make a really bad parody video of Eddie Hearn getting COVID. I found it funny, so it is what it is. I found it funny. Yeah, big up to that guy. Shout out to you, man. Big up to that guy. Would you watch Fowler versus Fitzgerald 2 or Cheeseman? Sorry. I'd rather watch Fowler Fitzgerald 2 personally. First fight was really good. Really good. I'll tell you what, I might have fucking corona, to be honest. Blocked nose, little bit of a cold, little bit fatigued. Listen, if I die from a fucking cold, I'm a pussy hole, so we'll move on. We'll soldier on like a fucking G. Fucking corona. Oh, I'm going to stay inside for 14 days. Fuck off, man. I'm going to go out. Do something about it. Do something. Oh yeah, Levi. Yeah, I've been hearing about this fight. Joseph Parker versus Junior Farr. Yeah, in New Zealand. Junior Farr, Christ. I don't rate Junior Farr at all. To be honest, I think Joseph Parker should make short work of him. That should be a statement fight for Joseph Parker. If Joseph Parker is struggling with Junior Farr, then questions really need to be asked about Joseph Parker, because Junior Farr really isn't all that good, it has to be said. He's slow, he's got no defense, his chin's not the best in my opinion. He's there for the taking. Joseph Parker should beat him up. Right, I've had enough. I've heard enough. I'm reporting you to my local Karen blue collar. Yeah, man. Oh, Christ. Yo, even if I knew I had corona, I'd probably still go out like a fucking inconsiderate arsehole. Yo, I swear down, I heard some glass smash outside. That's weird. That is so fucking weird. I swear I heard some fucking glass smash right outside. Whatever. Now fuck it. I'm gonna end the stream. I'm gonna go outside. I want to check that shit out. Yeah, I'm gonna end the stream. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Smash the like. Hit subscribe if you're new. All of that good stuff. Stay safe. Bloody blah. Peace out.